What's up everyone? Before I start the video, I'm gonna ask you one question. What is the one thing from century to century about women that will never ever change? Come on, I will give you 5 seconds to answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's right. The one thing about women from time to time that had not changed from centuries, whether it is from the past or the present, is how we love to dress up. That's right, there has been so many fashion trends that had been going on from time to time. And fashion itself, it helps with the self-expression. Basically, dressing up and fashion itself has been a really huge identity that has, carried out by us women from time to time. And also our interest too, because I feel like sometimes I can guess what a person might be into, what are they interested at by just looking at them. I know it's kind of psychic and creepy and weird, but trust me, there's just like that sort of template that's going on. Yeah. And then self-identity, and then to share your interest, I guess, to look like more like your interests, and also self-expression, which is very, very important for each of you to have, and one more, which is social status.
Now, you might be thinking, social status, like, what do you mean?
Hello everyone, my name is Ney, and today I'll be discussing about how women's fashion reflects their social status in the Victorian age. Let's get to it. Okay, so first and foremost, what is the Victorian period or the Victorian age? So it's kind of obvious already from the name.
Bruh.
So Victorian age or Victorian period is basically when Great Britain was ruled by the almighty, beautiful, too much.
Bruh.
The iconic Queen Victoria. Okay, so some interesting facts about Queen Victoria is that she ascended the throne quite young, actually. It was 16 years old? Like, what were you doing when you were 16? Okay, I had to change angles because my feet are killing me. Okay, so the first idea or the main concept that should pop up in your head when you first hear a Victorian period or Victorian age is that it is the time where Britain had reached its golden era. So why is it called a golden era? So basically, there are lots of changes and improvements in both economically and also from the technology too that happened when Queen Victoria reigned Great Britain. Now, in the golden era, there's this one really super significant event that happened, which is called the Industrial Revolution. Woo! And Industrial Revolution is started when there's this man called James Watt, and he first discovered and invented the machineries which is powered by steam. And ever since the discovery of this steam machine, everyone kind of just put their hands on and get busy with making other technological inventions. For example, the train tracks that can connect from the city London to other parts of the other parts of England. And then we have machineries that is used in factories.
Pause! Okay, the point that I'm trying to make is that since the Industrial Revolution had invented so many machines, what happened was people was started to get laid off from their work because they were replaced by these machines in the factories that they used to work in. Where have I heard that one before? So yeah, basically people were started to get laid off from their work, so therefore they don't have any income, which made them poor. And poverty was a huge problem back then in the Victorian age, so now you know.
And the one thing that happened, or the one social phenomena that was created because of this poverty and because of people getting laid off from their jobs and also people selling their children because of child labor, is social class. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the social classes in Victorian England. So the one thing that you should know about the social classes in Victorian England is basically built like a pyramid. So the top part, which is the littlest part, is the upper class, or we can call it the bourgeois. And then in the middle one, we have the middle class. And then at the bottom, we have the lower class, or also known as the working class, and also known as the proletarians. Okay, we are going to talk about the different fashion that the women had used back in the Victorian England based on the social stratification system that they are in. So we're going to start from the top of the pyramid again, which is the upper class or the bourgeois class. So we're going to start at the top first, or the head. Women in the upper class, when they go outside, when they have an outside activity, they wear a little hat which is decorated with flowers and feathers, like, you know, really cutesy. And then moving on to the hairdo, they don't usually put their hair down like what I'm doing right now. They don't curl their hair, they don't straighten their hair or anything, but they curl their hair up in a really cute and variative way. In variative ways. Moving on to the dress itself. So because they are the upper class, of course they can have anything they wanted. They can have the beautifulest, is that even a word? The most beautiful silks or the most beautiful textiles that they can ever wanted, because they can afford it. So yeah, they have lots of colors, like really bright colors like yellow or magenta or sky blue, like really pop up bright colors. And logically this is more expensive because textile coloring are really expensive, right? So the more color that you have in your clothes means that the more rich you are. So yeah, that's basically the cheat code. And then moving on to the accessories. So because the upper class, they have lots of money, they can afford really good jewelries. For example, like diamond earrings, and then they can afford gold necklaces or like pearl necklaces, and they can afford like ruby or like sapphire, like basically gemstones for their what's this called, for their rings and also their bracelets. Yeah, they basically can afford gold and pearls and diamonds and gemstones. Okay, moving on to the second part of the pyramid, which is the middle class. So kind of the same as the as the upper class, because they are entitled to some privileges also, but they are more down to earth, I guess. They're more toned down. That is not the word. They are more toned down than the upper class, because of course they don't have that much money money and that much riches as the upper class, but they can still afford some. Okay, so let's start from the top of their body first, which is the head. So kind of the same like the upper class, like sometimes or once in a while they used hats. Now moving on to the hairdo, it's actually the same as the upper class. They don't wear their hair down like people nowadays do. They basically puts in a simpler hairstyle than the women in the upper class. And then moving on to their accessories. So of course they won't have that much luxuries, because again, if they want to have that much luxury, they have to work hard. This is why people in the middle class, they're just really low-key. I mean, they do own some assets, and they do own some gold probably, or silver or diamond maybe, but not for everyday use. So but that does not stop them from using any accessories. Like some of them do actually wear some minor accessories, for example like a pendant or maybe a gemstone. And then moving on to the dresses. Now the dresses, it's kind of also the same as the upper class, but the difference is of course the textile that they use. Of course it's not as good and also eye-catching and that luxurious and glamorous as the upper class, but they do can afford some decent clothes that has good colors and also good styles to choose from. Now, as I mentioned before, the lower class engaged most of their time in doing labor. And yeah, these labor are not easy labors. These are like really hard and active labors. So therefore, the fashion that the women used back in the Victorian England, when they are in the lower or working class, it's not that much, it's not that colorful. It doesn't have that much pattern. Yeah, it's really as simple as it could be, since they don't have that much money. Of course, the textile that they are using is more coarse than the textiles that the middle class and the upper class would use.
Okay, the point that I'm trying to make is that since the lower or working class had more coarse materials for their clothes, it's also a win-win situation for them because therefore they don't have to spend much more money for their clothes because apparently the coarser your clothes are, the longer that it lasts.
And then the next thing is also about accessories or jewelry, and of course they barely have enough money to eat every night. So like obviously it is absolutely impossible for them to own any luxurious and glamorous luxuries or accessories. And yeah, I hope you guys learned so much about this essay. I had a really fun time talking about this because I am really interested in history, especially in the Victorian age, and I just really love the historical context and also the social context, economical context, and also political context, just basically and culture, like every single thing that is brought up in the Victorian age, because I think it's very interesting and also significant towards the growth of the British Empire, because again, as I mentioned, that Victorian age is the golden era of the Great Britain. So yeah, I had really fun talking about the significant differences of women's fashions based on their social classes. And yeah, I hope we can meet again in different circumstances. Maybe I will talk about different things next time. And thank you so much for listening to me yapping about basically my interest. I really love making this video. Once again, I already mentioned, it's like I really love it. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day and see you later.